That's it. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, what I say, it's about opportunity and guys showcasing their talent because they work hard to get here.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Harold.
Okay. Thank you. I say.
Yeah, well, both coaches talking about settling down, talking about regrouping after day one of the competition. They both feel a lot more settled. They're both looking forward to getting their first victory in this game that's about to kick off at the Transnet Saldanha Stadium. We've got the Saldanha Super 8 Easter Festival about to kick off. I'm going to hand over to Gavin Cowley and Ricky Schroeder, who are going to
PE and Free State and around to come and do duty. Match officials today, Jeff and Brankies will be the man in charge with the whistle from the Boland region. But we're ready for kickoff. Day 2 of the Saldanha Super 8 Easter Rugby Festival.
Well, that's pretty much a perfect kickoff too, right up there onto the number 8.
Okay. Now, sir, off your feet now.
Kamani Gio. Well, the players are going to enjoy the opportunity of running hard onto a field like today, where I think generally speaking they want to move the ball around, they want to score tries as much as they can. The tries were lacking, of course, on the first day. Just a single try scored by these two teams in their starting matches. So can the Raiders do something about it? Well, remains to be seen. A little chip kick through now, and Lots of time there for fullback Janssen to kick the ball downfield. He played at fly half on the very first day. He's been moved to fullback today. And the changes that have been made, and the fullback Ngwenya from the first day is playing on the left wing. So again, showing the abilities of the players in terms of variety. So Raiders quickly away from the line out. Strong running there inside from Kubaka.
Still is fine. Okay. No, sit.
Well, it almost seemed like that ball might get turned over, and but Barberton have won the penalty.
Stefan Hartmann going off his feet to compete at the breakdown. Rather Niku Basson from that Raiders squad. Not supporting his body weight. Was there hopefully to compete, but you need to stay on his feet. Prohibiting, going off his feet and prohibiting the Raiders side of playing that ball quickly.
Throw in belonging to Mark Pretorius, the captain of the side. Look at the average height of the jumpers there. They're actually quite low for Barberton too. If you have a look at that, below 1.9 meters, generally speaking, your lock forwards in modern day rugby are all right up there, close to 2 meters or more. Kick downfield there from Kubaka, and that's reasonable. I think today as well, Ricky, as we know, with less wind, kicking is less of a challenge, one's got to say. So you'll be able to use the boot when you need to use it.
There will definitely be a lot more confidence amongst these players to throw the ball around. We've seen how fearless they were in the first day to give the ball some air. But fantastic conditions in the West Coast.
A shorter line out then for Barberton. Deciding to go to the back there to Gert Engelbrecht. Engelbrecht had an exceptional first day. He played really well. Was a standout player in their team. Bear in mind as well that we also pick a man of the match in each game that's played. We'll be doing the same today. So Komani, rather Sipelele Zona was the man with the ball, but now they've gone and lost it, and the Raiders have an opportunity here. Can they finish this off somewhere along the line? The pass has got to be good. It is good, and the Raiders open their account. Wonderful play there. James Bester going over.
Absolutely brilliant, but it all started with a dominant defense up in the face of Barberton. James Bester scores his first try of the day. Dominance on defense by the Raiders, and immediately getting the ball into space. Great speed. But Carlson draws the last defender, and James Bester goes over in the corner.
Oh, that pass was so vital, wasn't it, that it was made at the right time.
And
suck in the player, and then off you go. That's wonderful execution, and a little easier without wind, of course. The one thing we have seen as well in this tournament, Ricky, is the kicks at goal, especially the conversions. The majority of them have been from way out. The tries have been scored such a long way out. And this is a really long kick for John Mbaka. Got the distance. What a fantastic conversion.
There's a reason his nickname is the Boot. John Kubeka converts the fantastic try, but absolutely brilliant running. Zono, Sipelele Zono draws the last defender, keeps the ball in two hands, vital. And James Bester does what he does best.
So kick-off from Rogishin Janssen. And the Raiders have made their intention very clear. They want to run this ball. They're finding space out wide too, which is really helping their cause. Excellent play there from Carlson, but got himself sucked in a little bit, and the touchline was the victor there, unfortunately. Just wonder if that pass of his could have been made a little bit earlier.
One thing that the Raiders are doing at the moment, they're generating quick ball at the breakdown. That's why they've got so much space on the outside, allowing players such as James Bester to run freely out wide.
So Barberton doing most of the throwing in at the line-outs. Gerrit Engelbrecht has been the target, and he's once again the target towards the back of the line-out. So useful to have that. He's a civil engineer, by the way, by trade. Unusual to see rugby players with day jobs. Most of them playing professional rugby. Of course, these men don't. They play for the love of the game. Not that the top players don't play for the love of the game too. Just the rewards are a little bit different. So Barberton now in possession, and an opportunity here for Shane Muller. Kick downfield. Well, it's going to be a penalty because there's no advantage from the kick. One's got to say, Ricky, as well, that first day, what really impressed me, besides some of the action from the players, was the referee. We saw a really liberal use of advantage, the advantage law, and that just made for some really exciting tries.
Yeah, good. They've got a good understanding of the game, the flow of the game. They understand the assignment of wanting to see some exciting rugby, but still within the laws. And speaking of laws, of course, that high tackle, if a tackle is executed above the sternum, it's immediate indication to the referee that it's a high tackle. So no longer the collar or the neck area, above the sternum is a high dangerous tackle.
There might be some people that ask, where's your sternum?
Jou borsbeen. Still in Afrikaans.
In the middle of your chest. Oh, nice little ball that over there for Alberts. Scrum half, he's a strong fellow too, 93 kilograms for a scrum half, so he's a beefy enough guy to also carry the ball well. That ball knocked on, but well taken out of the, well, so well taken out of the air. He fell quite awkwardly there. Is it Gerrit Engelbrecht? He took a pounding as that ball went up in the air, and then yeah, look, at the end of the day, nothing untoward there in terms of the tackle.
The laws do, however, state that it's the responsibility of the defending player to not play a player if his feet are in the air.
That ball not out. Now the Raiders decide they want to take it upfield. Good defensive work there as well from Ngwenya. Got himself well organised with a 2-on-1 thing, and he managed to suppress them initially. Both these teams very lively in terms of looking for opportunity to score tries, and at the moment it's the Raiders who are looking the real part as far as that's concerned, with lots of opportunities that they've got and had, and the ball that's come their way too. Now he has a little bit of space once again. Coming there from Gia. Support coming from Bata. And again, your mix is the important thing. Play the situation, so when the opportunity arises, go wide. You know, and the other times you want to carry it up like they're doing right now, but they're getting enough possession. Man tackled without the ball, so that'll be a penalty to the Raiders.
Well, this time it's a loose prop. Mabila coming in from the side. Play underway again by the Raiders.
Now they really are looking like a lively outfit.
Body weight support. Now supporting those body weight.
Space sought and found. Lovely play that, and some good running as well from
It's a forward pass.
Vuyasani's Stinkwe.
Captain. Die contest by die breakdown is baie goed, maar wat belangrik is om van hand op bal. Jy net eers body weight support. Kyk, as jy net sê so kom jy die wen.
Well, Mark Pretorius has just had a talking to from Jeff and Brankis, the referee. Good communication too, very important. Let them understand what is needed and, you know, what the referee expects of them.
Linke tripping over his own feet. He's had one defender to be just a little bit loose at that breakdown, but that team warning going to Mark Pretorius, saying that it'll be a little bit more accurate and clinical at the breakdown. The Barberton team. You do not want to lose a player. Vuyo. Hartman just getting that ankle tap in. Maybe just throwing the balance of Vuyo. Okay.
Well, the one thing he can count in his favour, he's scored the only points for Barberton as of now. That solitary try that they had on their first day, Mabila. Is he being forced to leave the field there? Just a bit of blood on the head, I think so. We have a blood replacement.
Just follow my course.
Martinez Venter. Come and do duty in the front row.
Nice to bring on a man of 128 kilograms, just to add to the mix.
Some beefy guys here this week.
Some big boys there, you know.
Bye. Sit. Okay, keep it steady. Let's keep it steady now.
So the man with the put in is Shane Muller.
Stay line. Stay line.
So strong man.
Now advantage. That's offside.
Waiting for advantage now.
Number 9
That's
offside.
not considered advantage. Good enough from referee Brankis.
Yeah.
Scrum off. Albert's a little bit too quick off the mark to try and put pressure on Shane Miller. Ball was not out according to the referee. Still underneath the 8th foot.
Well, that kick from Janrico from Yellen is not out. So the Raiders are enjoying the opportunity of these counter-attacks, moving the ball down the line too and finding space. That's one thing that Barberton have got to try and overcome, are those basic errors. But they're not getting enough possession, one's got to say too. The Raiders are enjoying a surfeit of possession in these early exchanges. They're looking confident running with the ball too. Well, they open up space and they're going to get their second try. And that'll belong to Kanyan Gusani, former Paul Boys High pupil.
The Raiders just getting so much momentum at the moment, and it's so clinical with their strike runners. They are drawing in defenders. It creates the opportunity outside, and then the loose forwards and Kasane, they have opportunity to get on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, again, you know, sometimes you've got to question your defense. You know, are you going to defend in or out? And they decided to go in, but that just frees it up with your more pacey man on the outside. Even although he's a flank forward, he's certainly got enough pace to get over the line. So Kubeka. Trusty left boot then of the centre three-quarter.
The Raiders just have so much time on the ball at the moment. Drawing in defenders, letting the ball do the work, and they've got the pace outside. Fantastic attacking intent by this Raiders team.
Well, Barberton really need to try and get their hands on the ball now. They haven't had any decent possession to make use of. A kick from Janssen, who's knocked on by the Raiders. A basic error after getting a 7-pointer. Hand goes up there from Mani Gia, just apologising for the knock-on, which I think he should. It was a pretty easy one, wasn't it?
Well, he's an honest man. He's also known as the priest in the team, so definitely just taking accountability and responsibility for that error. But the Raiders enjoying 70% of the ball possession at the moment, and they are converting it into points. Hence the 2 tries, to convert the tries on the scoreboard already.
Yeah, that's the important point, is having lots of possession but converting it, as you say. So can he get a steady scrum here? A decent ball from this pack of forwards of his in front of him. Tough ball, but he gets it away. That's neat play from him. Now, Barberton need to string together a couple of phases. That's been the issue for them too. Well, they've got a penalty advantage at the moment. But they'll do their confidence the world of good if they could just carry the ball through a few phases. And more importantly, perhaps also score a try. So the long pass, here's a chance for them now. Can they finish this off somehow? Yep. They've done just that. So Ngwenya, who played at fullback on the first day, has got their first points of the day.
Vukani Ngwenya showing his quick feet skills, beating quite a few of the cross defenders. But must say, Neil de Wit definitely got the momentum. But this man, stop-start. But he knows where the try line is, 5 points.
And very opportune too, one's got to say, you know, when you don't want things running away with you, when you've got 30% of the possession, if you can stay in touch, that's the important thing for them. This could be a real thriller of a game, this, depending on how things pan out. Precaution Janssen will attempt to convert. Not a big win to contend with, but it's gone left of the upright. So it's just going to be the 5 points then to the Barberton team.
But it started with this build-up. Neil de Wit, 138 kgs, just getting over the gain line. And immediately that forces the defense line of the Raiders to not be in place, caught off guard, and it allows for the space for Vukani Ngwenya to go over.
Yeah, absolutely spot on that, Ricky, with Neil de Wit's effort there, with carrying the ball upfield. If that ball was in the sun, it seemed like the players were battling a little bit to see where it was, but Barberton have managed to hold on to it. It's just sometimes, you know, a little spark like that with a try can make such a difference to the way you play and the confidence that you have to carry the ball.
Hey, there's Jonah.
Another kick downfield there into touch, just gives them a little bit of relief outside of their 22, up to the 10-meter line. Rico Vermeulen's actually got quite a big boot on him too, so he can give it a good whack. And that's maybe part of the intention.
Even though Raiders are leading, the penalty count quite high at the moment, 5 in compared to Barberton. They want to keep that as low as possible. Discipline of utmost importance as well.
That was in straight, so Shane Miller gets it out there. Part of the thinking, I think, was for Enrico Vermeulen to carry it upfield. Very strong runner with the ball. Well, those are the basic areas, Ricky, that I was talking about that both teams want to try and negate.
And the basic areas, such as the knock-on, it just hinders the momentum, the rhythm of a team. The communication between Pretorius and Mabela, probably not 100% then. Mabela not expecting that ball. There we have it, the confirmation of it. 2 on the side of Raiders, 1 Barberton.
I guess too, one of the other things that we would always want to consider is that, you know, they're playing 3 games as an amateur rugby player in 4 days is not easy. It's very testing, and of course the big challenge is for the coaches to make sure that the rotation policy works and that they empty their bench where they can. But that's always sometimes easier said than done, Ricky, because, you know, you've got your top players on the field. It's a tight game and you don't want to take them off, but you need to give others an opportunity to, and also rest your top players. And it's a real challenge. So coaching a rugby team is not always that easy.
And I do feel for the scrum offs as well, especially a guy like Shane Miller. I mean, he played close to 80 on the first day, and he needs to get to the rucks. Usually when there's slow ball, the coaches are always first to blame the scrum offs for not getting there. So yes, the rotation management of these players is going to be key for the coaches.
He didn't play 80 minutes on the first
Oh,
day. He got a yellow card. So he was off for 10.
He had a little breather.
Bye. Sit. Keep it up. Keep it steady.
Marco Alberts, the scrum half for the Raiders, get clean delivery from that line out, and yes, another opportunity for them. Have they gone in the right direction?
Support your body weight, sir.
I fancy they should have just kept it going out. Might have made a difference for them. But again, the Raiders looking very dangerous when they move the ball down the line. And their forwards have supplied a fairly decent array of balls to the back line. And they've now got a penalty.
Leave it. It's done. Okay, now playing on the ground.
It's always interesting watching when a penalty is given, how someone with the ball wants to take it and run, and there they go. Why not? If you can score a try, it'll make a difference. They are that close. Here they come once again, and yep, over they go. Third try then for the Raiders, belonging to Kobani Gia.
Gia, not only known as the priest, but also a very clever man, the chartered accountant. And shows his upper body strength as well. Very flat to take that ball from his scrum off, but fantastic upper body strength to power through and score another try for the Raiders.
Yeah, a tall man with a long reach too. 30 years of age he is, and as you say, a chartered accountant, so wonderful. He's got the right mix, hasn't he? He plays the game of rugby well, and he's well educated. He has an educated boot as well that we see from John Kubeka. Somehow the conversion's a little bit easier for some of the players today. Oh, that's perfect. I'll tell you what, if there's any members of the Orlando Pirates Football Club, they might be looking and saying, hang on, that man can come and play football with us. He's got an educated boot.
Oh, Enrico Vermeulen just not getting low enough to try and stop the big unit in Jaya. Now, important thing for Raiders to secure this ball off the kickoff.
Very deep from Janssen, right into the 22. Well fielded there by Mabata. And also finding a lot of latitude. You know, you want to close that down as much as you can. Try and keep them in their own 22. But every time they open up opportunities, as they're doing right now, this is brilliant play. And great interplay as well. Bring the quick men into the mix, and what a try this could be if they're able to finish it off. Here they come, and it will be try number 4 for the Raiders. A brilliant try, started within their own 22.
What a fearless approach by this Raiders team. Adrian Karlse also has a great feel for the game, knows when to join the fullback, but it's the ability to keep this ball alive by the Raiders, running with the ball in 2 hands so well. And the thing with keeping the ball alive, it never allows the defense line to get in position. They have to keep on retreating. And Adrian Karlse, he made good yards, good support play, good communication by this Raiders team.
It's always more difficult as well, Ricky, if you don't have the right support mechanism to the ball carrier. And they very much had that, you know, inside, outside. They were able to move it confidently to the next man in a better position. So really good to see that. Kubeka with another conversion. So he's converted all 4 of the tries that have been scored. No bonus points that are given in this tournament for 4 tries, but they'll keep trying to add as many as they can on.
Gavin Cowley, just to build on your point of the player being in the better position, the supporting players, the eyes of the ball carrier. So it's that communication of utmost importance, and it's getting the ball to that player in the better position. And the communication being clear, absolutely fantastic by this Raiders team.
Well, very often what you'd say is, you know, there are X number of guys that come from the same high school, so they know each other, and that's not the case with the Raiders. Yes, with Barberton, they've got 14 players, or 12 players rather, that were at Barberton High School. But the Raiders come from all over Gauteng. You heard Ricky Schroeder talking about even from as far afield as Pretoria, Alberton, surrounding areas of Johannesburg. They just have a level of confidence in carrying the ball that we didn't see on the first day in their first up match. But they've given away a penalty on this occasion. A question about Barberton now. Do they kick at goal, or do they search for that kick for the corner? You know, at the more senior levels of rugby, we're able to predict to a certain extent what players are likely to do. Yeah, we're a little bit unsure. So Enrico Vermeulen is asked to kick it into the corner. He's done that quite with a fair amount of precision.
Well, the Barberton team, they have a big pack of forwards, so they will probably rely on that rolling more. Not a full line out though. Skuman waiting in that middle pod.
I think the opposition is saying, where's Neil de Wit? He's the one we've got to watch. The big man. So short line out, and once again it's well taken there by Gerrit Engelbrecht. He really has been useful in the line outs. Here they come, Pretorius with a carry. Can they get over and get a second try, just to make this contest a little bit more even? Because at the moment it's very one-sided. Close to the goal line. Can somebody get their way through here? It's good defensive work from the Raiders. They've kept their lines, made sure that their defensive organization is what it should be. Yes, Engelbrecht. Quick pass out there as well from Makabela, who's in the scrum half position right now.
No. Lost it in contact.
One after the other they go.
It wasn't forward, eh?
Can they find their way through somewhere along the line?
He's stuck out.
I'm just looking at the Raiders team. They are spread across the field, and credit to them, they've managed to wrest that ball away. Now they look to attack from close in. Not a great pass, but that's obviously played with a lot of confidence too.
No advantage for the knock for the game. We're gonna have a shot here.
So Ashante Songwe is the man who's on at scrum half. My apologies to Makabela, who's still on the bench.
Barberton will be disappointed. A soft handling error. Great position on the field in the 22. An opportunity to score some points, but unfortunately once again handling a knock-on being the biggest enemy.
Can they use that big pack of forwards there to put pressure on the opposition, put in at scrum time? They're very close to the line, 5 meters from the line.
Bye.
Two big men there in
Sit. Keep it.
Neil de
Keep
Wit
it
and
out.
Pretorius.
Ball is out.
Pick up from the back there from
Out, Tekela.
Gia,
Thank you.
and he was unhindered for some distance there. Somehow Barberton have got to put a little bit more pressure on the opposition. And that's a pretty good kick, that as well. Just take them outside the 22, so that's some relief that for Raiders.
Adrian Karls having a fantastic game thus far. Wasn't a lot of pressure with that kick, but used his quick feet to evade the player putting pressure and got a kick away. Taking play just outside the 22. Still an opportunity for Barberton to utilize this pack of forwards.
Definitely so, and they need to remain down here too. Obviously get points on the board. They don't want to go back into their own half of the field. Lineouts have been fine. No real problems with that. Now the carry forward. Pretorius at the back, the captain. The man who threw the ball into the lineout. Now he's carrying it up and down it goes. That's going to be a penalty advantage. So Barberton can open up the floodgates here, do what they wish to do, because they know they've got a penalty advantage. But at the moment they are walking towards that line. And there they go. That's outstanding play from a team that hasn't had the sort of possession they would have liked.
And it's that man, the captain. His coach mentioned before the time he had to work a little bit late on Thursday evening. Hence him only joining up with the team now. But Mark Pretorius, remember playing with him at the Lions back in the day, called him Fark. And this time it was as a unit. This pack of forwards, they kept their cool. Mark Pretorius showing his experience by not breaking away too early from that rolling maul. Trusted the process, and 5 points on the board for Barberton.
I've got a question for you. So vark in Afrikaans means pig.
That's
so
correct.
did that have something to do with the way he ate or the way he behaved?
I can tell you one thing, Mark Pretorius enjoyed a big plate of food.
Just as Janssen has enjoyed the conversion from the fullback position for Barberton.
But in all seriousness, I think that we called him Fark because he was never scared to go to a dark place, a dirty place. He was always the guy that cleaned up the mess. He's a phenomenal hooker, and hence him being such an instrumental player in this Barberton team.
How did he clean up the mess, with his mouth or with Oh, good to see that he's also passing down the experience that he's picked up with the Lions. The knock-on coming there from Mabata. Mabata is probably the better pronunciation. Fairly straightforward for him. But again, that's good pressure that, you know, you want your wingers to be chasing as best as they can. We see so much of that in modern day rugby with certain players, you know. Last night we saw with Curtly Orenser too, just such a good chaser of the ball, you know, putting pressure on the opposition. He's got the pace too. He's beautifully plucks the ball out of the air. And you and I spoke about that a little bit earlier as well on the first day. And I mentioned Brian Abana's name because, you know, in those days, he was one that was always looking for work. And you want your wingers to be doing that. That's not just a defensive role that they have with the back three, but they're also attacking wise, you know, they need to go and look for work. Shongwe at scrum half just gets things going there. And for Barberton, also Malchus with the carry. Is this going to herald a little bit of a change in fortune for Barberton? Having got that try, have they now maybe got a little bit of extra confidence too in terms of the way they play? The Raiders, I must say, have looked very well organized defensively. Yes, they've given away 2 tries, but generally speaking, you can see they spread across the field. They know what their strategy is defensive-wise. It makes it a little bit more difficult for the attacking team. Shongwe, back it goes now. Up and under from Enrico Vermeulen is a pretty good one. Oh, I think there might have been an offside position, offside call there. No, it wasn't. High tackle. Shows Ricky Schroeder to me, and he does it beautifully without saying a word.
Non-verbal communication, Gavin Cowley.
Telepathy.
But definitely a new self-confidence amongst this Barberton team.
Is this going to be an up and under, or is he going to try and hammer it down to the touchline here for Vermeulen? He's got a big boot on him. Well, it's maybe a little bit of both. But the Raiders, you don't want to give them the opportunity of running back at you, and that's what Barberton haven't got right in this match at times. Raiders have got some really pacey men out wide, so cut them off as best as you can before the ball can get out there. Good Ricky Schroeder was talking about the importance of tackling below the sternum, according to the law. The referees have got to keep their eyes out on that. Now Mbata also looks full of running when the opportunity comes his way. Quickly out there as well from Alberts. Support from John Kubeka. He's kicked so well in this game thus far. Now still they come. We seem to have an extra man out wide somewhere along the line.
Marco, van je gaat zitten met jou? Zo, alles gaat goed in daar. Zo veel, maar hij begint een goalie shot. En hij doet alles behalve wat hij moet doen. Dus kan hem net om in die vrije weg krijgen te doen wat hij moet doen. En dan mijn job is om hem los. Die gest, die achter alsjeblieft. Captain, two.
That's the message.
I think this is a bit concerning now, eh? Multiple penalties because we have played advantage. We never gone back for it. Hence the reason. Okay, so kom ons hou het net een beetje laag als ze moesten worden. Ik ga hier zo, voor dat releasing, okay?
Again, clear communication
Releasing.
by the referee stating that the Raiders players need to stick to their job, and that's playing rugby. He'll handle the situations, the laws on the field. Having a chat to both captains.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair comment as well, you know, that you lay down the necessary law at an early stage so that the players all know. Otherwise it's babble, babble, babble all the time, complaining about the referee's decisions. Keep your energy for playing the game. Oh, that's a very poor throw, that, or pass if you want to call it that, or whatever it was. Well, Barberton have come away with it here, but they've got to be sure that they're passing to the ball to a man in a better position than themselves.
Sure, Niku Basson will argue that he has the better looking beard of all his players at this tournament.
All the way from Florida, where he grew up. Yeah,
Crouch.
when I played rugby, nobody had beards. I just wondered, Ricky,
Bye.
you did play when guys had beards too, and there's even more than that. Does anybody try and pull your beard at some stage?
So when we
Seems
square,
like an
let's get
easy
the arm length
target.
of space, then we should be happy with the binding, okay? Okay.
I've been trying to grow a beard for 33 years, Gavin Cowley, so that was not a problem or concern of mine when I was
Make sure
playing.
when we bind with arm
It
length
was
of
that
space,
mullet
okay?
that you had that was the real problem.
Well, we tried.
Crouch! Bye! Sit! Okay, let's keep it now.
In it goes from Shongwe.
Number 2 is
Young
coming in.
pick up there from
Now that was
Gerrit
a two.
Engelbrecht. It's a big kick downfield, but it's not considered to be advantageous to the Barberton team, so they'll come back for the penalty. Gerrit Engelbrecht's kick was debatable. It could have been quite useful with a good attacking line, but bear in mind now having the penalty to kick it out, and you'll have the throw in at the line out.
Front row of the Raiders scrumming in on an angle. The referee usually requires the front rowers to have a spine in line, the straight as possible, parallel with the sideline.
Yeah, I hear the numbers, but so I'm not going. You see, I'm not calling numbers.
As soon as those hips move out
That's good.
or swings out, it's an immediate indication to the referee that the front rows are scrumming in on an angle.
Oh, Barberton players there. That ball's gone into touch, and it's probably going to be half time. Yep, it is in fact half time. And the Raiders go into half time with a fairly decent lead, one's got to say. 16 points it is. In the meanwhile, some explanations here too in terms of what is required from the referee. But kudos to the referees that we've had thus far in this tournament. I think they've done an excellent job. A lot of them up and coming young men that are gracing the fields. It's sometimes a thankless job, and great to know about that too. So, halftime here. So let's have a look at those highlights, Ricky Schroeder.
Our Raiders starting off this game with attacking intent, taking the ball into space. An easy draw and pass by Zono to the quick man James Bester. And once again, drawing the defenders in the middle. So Carl's also showing quick hands, and Nkosane, a man from Boys Eye, also converting into points. But it didn't stop there. Barberton had an opportunity. A carry by Neil de Wit initially that gave the momentum for Ngwenya to use his quick feet, beat a couple of the defenders on the cross defense, and score the first points for the team from Barberton. But Raiders hit back, showcasing it's not only their backs that can score tries, but also their big men in Chumani, Gia. Good upper body strength by the eighth man. But we spoke about that fearless attack, keeping the ball alive, getting it to someone in a better position. And that's exactly what Alberts did when he handed the ball to Adrian Karlse. It was the opportunity for the big pack of forwards of Barberton. They kept their cool, patience by Captain Mark Pretorius. Almost in the middle of that rolling wall, but gets the necessary fire.
With legendary ref Sean Feltzman, former test referee, former TMO at test level as well. Sean, tell us the importance of this tournament to SA Rugby refs.
I think it's important, Warren, in terms of their career pathway for development purposes, to expose young talent to the public and to the selectors at SA Rugby, and to say, listen here, this is what we have currently available to you guys, and make use of the opportunity for these guys. So also to elevate them as well, and to make sure that they actually on the right track as well.
Have they been performing well?
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy with the performances Thursday evening of the referees, and I mean specifically of two referees, JB and Zoe. I think Zoe did very well in terms of the first female probably refereeing here at this tournament, and I think she was really in the pressure cooker Thursday evening, and I think the pressure was well handled by Zoe.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and then they've also had to adapt with the tackle law by as far as the sternum's concerned.
Yeah, correct. And I think many teams actually did adapt quite fairly well to that law. And I think as long as we just penalise it, teams will get used to it. For as long as we keep on penalising the stuff, the teams will eventually change their behaviour as well on the field.
If someone's sitting at home watching this interview and they want to become a rugby ref, what have they got to do?
They've got to join their local referees union, say for example Boland or Western Province, or they can go to SWD, wherever. Make sure that you get into the system, and then from there the guys will take you as a beginner referee and then explain the career pathway to you.
And it's a fantastic way to be sitting at the rugby field watching what we love. Thanks very much, Sean.
Thank you so much, Warren. Thanks for the opportunity.
Cheers, Sean Feltzman. Thank you very, very much for that. And our next game that we've got, Raiders half-time are leading 28 points to 12 against Barberton. 4 tries in that first half against the 2 from Barberton. Can the men from Mpumalanga get back into this game and compete with the Raiders? Can the Raiders put it away? We'll find out after this.
Room. Here they come. Barberton team have been out for a while. Just perhaps their team talk was a little bit shorter, sharper and sweeter, Ricky Schroeder.
Yeah, I'm sure the Raiders used every last minute and second to get their information across. Harold Primo.
John Kubeka with another pinpoint kick downfield.
Okay.
The next 10 minutes of this game could surely give us an indication of the direction it's going to go in.
Advantage for you.
What was the message from the two coaches at half-time?
No, 6. Playing advantage for
A
offside, number
question
4.
that would need to be answered, and maybe it'll become visible depending on the strategy of the two teams. Not there at the moment. Shongwe. Big up
No
and under
advantage,
there.
number 4, offside.
It's going to be a penalty against the Raiders with
4.
Sino Bali, who was offside.
Yeah.
No, the defense line of the opposition team would usually want to put pressure as quick as possible, but just make sure you stand that 1.5 meters behind the last man's feet, just to make sure you're playing from an onside position.
They've done it pretty well up until now. I've got to say, I think their defense is really well organised. But on that occasion, you know, with Bali just going a little bit too quickly off the mark.
Now they've constantly got men on their feet in their defense line, not giving much attacking opportunity for this Barberton team.
There is, Ricky, someone who's very adept at a little chip and chase over the initial defenders, but here they come to the Barberton team. They need quick delivery. They're not. Shongwe doesn't pick it up, and he didn't have the players there, but now they've gone and knocked it on. And this counter-attack can be dangerous too. We've seen how useful this team is with that. Back for it, Janssen. Neat take there from the fullback. Initially running quite laterally, but he's straightened things up now quite neatly, but they've gone back close to 40 meters from where they were in the beginning. And the carry up there from Gerrit Engelbrecht really has been a Trojan for this Barberton team.
Out.
See, the Raiders are very, I'm sure that defense has been a hallmark of their preparation in many ways as a team. It just makes things so much more difficult for the opposition. No easy way through, but I mentioned it just now, Ricky, you know, it's also, I'm a great believer in that little grubber with a chip and chase. If there's no posters at the back patrolling, and sometimes there aren't, you can see the Raiders guys are flat, just try that little chip over the top. If you get the favourable bounce, very often it can result in points.
100% correct, Gavin Cowley. Always space somewhere on the rugby field, but I think what makes this Raiders defense so effective is that they are hunting those double hits as well, and just prohibiting then the Barberton team of keeping the ball alive. One guy tackling the ball, one guy tackling the body. It makes it very difficult, and if you're dominating the collision area, yes, that you will be trailing by points on the scoreboard. And that's what Raiders are getting spot on at the moment.
Crouch.
Now, you spoke about you used the word patience a little bit earlier in that try that Barberton scored too.
Keep it steady.
Exercise that patience, you know, it's the same thing now. There's no wind, which is often the factor in terms of what you want to do and what you don't, but Barberton's scrum there is absolutely perfect, but they haven't managed to hold on to the ball.
Bal was achteruit.
Just seem to at times be maybe a yard too slow in defending against the Raiders. Ball played on the ground, and it's Mabila who's been penalised.
What's happening, buddy? Blood again?
The Raiders have a decision to take here. The referee just having a word with Barberton's captain, Mark Pretorius. But there's a man down at the moment, so looks like he's taken a smack there on the leg.
This is going to be the challenge for all the teams competing over the next few days, is injuries. We know that a lot of these players are not professional players, so not a lot of time can be spent on conditioning, but you can definitely sense a lot of time has been spent in the building of the team building element of this. You can hear the singing, the vibe absolutely electrifying, not only amongst the crowd but also among the players.
So we've got our next game is Veltrup and Safkal, who will be taking up the cudgels, and rather Veltrup and Gardens rather. They'll be the teams taking up the fight and arriving at the game full of voice. You want to transfer that voice onto the field.
Gardens definitely having the passion, having the vibe, but it will, like you've just pointed out, Gavin Cowley, the big challenge will be for it to translate onto the field.
I remember chatting to David Beckham, the footballer, who was sponsored by the company I worked for, of course, out here with the England team, and they were, I think it was in Durban where they were playing, and I asked him at a later stage, what was the scariest thing in your career? And he said, that team of yours, Bafana Bafana, singing as we walked out onto the field was scary. The African way.
And that is a part of our DNA, but I'm still in awe that you just casually mentioned that you've mentioned or that you met David Beckham. That is fantastic.
Yeah, well, Adidas, who I worked for, sponsored him, so we saw a lot of him at various functions and games and whatever it might be. Many others too. Now a big kick there from John Mabeka. It's a great kick there, but it's not straight enough. So back they come again. Barberton finding a little bit of space, and I think it's the counter-attack opportunities that they've got to try and utilize better, because with Raiders' defense being so well organized, it's hard to break that, and it doesn't look like they want to use the boot at all. So the counter-attack, when you fractured them to an extent, is really what they need to do. Well, that's what I think, Ricky. You're the one, you're the analyst. You're going to give us your opinion.
You've got it spot on, Gavin Cowley. Because from that counter-attacking opportunity, it's not enough time for the defense line to get into position, so it can be quite scattered. And that's where the opportunity is. The holes start opening up, so they've got to be a little bit more accurate in the execution of their passing and their game plan when given that opportunity.
I think even more importantly, they need more possession. As we've seen with possession during the course of this game, has really belonged to the Raiders in many ways. Ball went backwards there from Albert, so there were no problems with it. Raiders finding a little bit more space to work in, but there was a knock on there. And of course, again, Ricky, you spoke about the occupational hazard that exists at a tournament like this with injuries. You've only got a squad of so big that you always worry about guys getting injured, but also the importance of the rotation we spoke about earlier. Giving everyone an opportunity, being able to rest some players. It's really not that easy.
And teams such as Barberton and Raiders, they don't have the luxury of just bringing in a player quickly from Cape Town or the surrounds. So they have to be very smart with how they will rotate their players over the next few days.
Bye. Sit.
Strong scrum from Raiders, but picked up at the back, and the referee's whistle is gone. Yep, there's the indication. It fell out of the flight. So, they come again, do the Raiders.
Okay.
Those first-time tackles are so important. The Barberton team have got to close them down a little bit more quickly than they're doing at the moment. There's enough time for Alberts to actually make his decisions at scrum half. What he's going to do with the ball. New man on the field, Schlabber, 130 kilograms. Wise man to pass the ball to. Make sure he catches it first and foremost. And he's hard to bring down.
Ball aside.
Well, that ball's still alive, right up against the touchline there. The Raiders have done very neatly here. Showed enough patience and fortitude with getting the ball up to 6 phases at the moment.
Advantage, all going over.
Penalty advantage, so they can make their call and do their thing. Albert's looking to also try and work his way through as best as he can. So those fresh legs there with Olofsson and Schlabber for the Raiders will also help their cause.
Nico Basson convinced he got that try. Great tackle fight. The referee just needs to confirm with his AR.
Yep, he's given it. So there we go. That's try number 5 then for the Raiders.
Nikubason did so well. Never stopped working. Kept the legs pumping, and the man with a spectacular beard, yeah, gets points. But yes, he stayed in the fight, used his upper body strength, he used his whole body to power over. He scored another try for the Raiders team.
Got 35 seconds.
John Kubeka from close to the touchline. Hasn't missed a kick all day. Well, there we go. That's the first one. And it wasn't far off either. But there's your try scorer, Nico Besson.
And we've alluded to his beard earlier. That's a very well kept beard. The man is doing well to groom it and keep it tidy in place, just like his rugby. Knows how to finish off for his team.
There we go. He must have heard you, Ricky.
Keeping every little hair in place there.
Okay.
Nice kick downfield there, and the Raiders is Mochacheni, who's on the field too with a catch.
Taken
Out
back.
from Alberts, taken back. From Kubeka. Up onto Jock Swart. Well, that's a knock-on. So disappointing that once again for Barberton. Just the basic errors that we spoke about early in the game just seem to be surfacing from time to time.
Jacques Swart, the ball was in the basket, but took his eyes off, probably just to check how far that defense line of the Raiders is. That's fundamental thing you learn when you start playing rugby is keep your eye on the ball till the last second. Make sure it's in control.
We had a good first half.
Saw Mark Pretorius, the captain of Barberton, just looking and chatting whatever he was saying to the touchline. Are they looking to bring replacements on right now?
Knouts.
He's got no choice. He's got to stay there.
He missed the first day, so he's got a lot of rugby left in him still.
Good enough start that as well, but again you can see the Raiders just how freely they're able to run. So much pace. Here comes some more, and it comes another try. Brilliant play that from Carlson. Just once again it's a team try, you know, from a set piece. Beautiful hands all the way through, and then finished off by the fullback.
I initially thought that the Raiders played against the wheel of the scrum, but their speed of hands with ball, the little loop around by Zono, switch. Adrian Carlson, I said it earlier, he's got a great understanding for the game, knows when to join the back line, and that change of direction with Zono drawing over the defenders, opening the space on the inside for Carlson. He's got all the pace to burn in the world.
And there's one other guarantee, is that he would definitely leave you behind in a 100-meter dash.
So quick off the mark.
John Kubeka, this time right on the touchline. Had one very close to this just now. Didn't miss it by much. Again, it's a very educated boot, but this time it's on the other side of the uprights. So 4 out of 6 conversions from the center three-quarter, but here's the finish.
He's got a fantastic running style as well. So much speed. Adrian Carlson. And he's involved in a few assists as well earlier. Definitely putting his hand up for play of the match as well.
Mitchell Clitty on the park as well, confirmation of that. Yeah, well, Adrian Carlson is a machine operator. He knows how to finish things off.
Okay.
Love looking through the occupations of the players. Also some students amongst the players too today. But a real variation. Now that's a brilliant kick. And again, it's an indication, yes, there is no big win today, but playing in the opposition half of the field is what you really want to do.
50-22, yes.
John Kubeka, and that's the
Surely that's a 50-22, isn't it? Yep.
yeah, off the left boot from John Kubeka. The Raiders just bringing a variation to their play. They're showing that they can take the ball into space, but they can also utilize their kicking boot, getting into the right areas of the field.
Well, I think Harold Primo will be their coach will be very happy with their performance in many ways. I know coaches are prone to never be completely satisfied, but there's been some excellent play. They've found space and they really have sorted. Basson was in picture again there. He is still fighting the good fight. Well, can they find their way through again? The way they've played, there surely is that opportunity that could exist for them.
Now, sir, you're now near. Now, sir. Now, you're off your feet. You're nowhere near the ball.
Nice little pop pass
No,
there
sir,
to
no, sir.
Mashasheni. Again they come. This time it's
Okay, now, 3.
Gusane.
Thank you, sir.
Down the line. And back inside from Kubeka. Those 5 phases, they've put them in a very good position, but they've now conceded a penalty, the Raiders.
This time Mabala gets it right. Reaction time to that breakdown much better. Didn't form part of the tackle, so rightfully could contest that ball on the ground. But 87 tackles made by Barberton. Physically demanding.
Yeah, it's been the story of their game, hasn't it? They've had to make those tackles. For me, the key issue is that the Raiders have always maybe got an extra 2 or 3 meters of running opportunity and running space that should have been cut down by them. And that, you know, once the ball carrier is in front of everybody else in his team, it's only go forward. And they haven't quite got that right, Barberton.
It just means that whole defense line needs to retract and move backwards. Makes it very difficult to stop the momentum then.
Move wide.
So first time tackles, that will be the key thing in the remaining few minutes of this match.
Just keep your space here. Don't tip over.
So Mark Pretorius, alias Fark, will have the throw in. There's a light breeze which is blowing from right to left as you look at your screen. Favorable bounce this time here for the Raiders. Good communication from them too. With the knock-on coming, so disappointing finish for them, but they'll be very happy with the fact that they've already got 6 tries to the 2 of Barberton.
Let's move.
Wonderfully contested. Mitchell Kluter getting up ahead of his opposition. Just disrupting that ball, not giving Barberton the opportunity. Get that clean ball.
Coach. Bye.
So Shongwe with the pushing for Barberton, still in their own half of the field.
Just down. Just get up. Just get the arm length of space, guys. That's the only thing. It's the only problem. If you do have the arm length of space, it doesn't have issues at all, okay? Because currently we're too close on the bind. Safe.
Yeah, you just heard the referee saying they're a little bit too close on the bind, but you also don't want to be too far from the bind because that very often as well brings instability in the scrum.
Then get your front rowers overextending in the when they hit in. But stability of utmost importance before the scrum off feeds.
Much better. Keep it up now.
The scrum.
Sit. Let's keep it there now. Early shuffle wide.
Okay, it's a free kick then to Barberton. The question is, what do they do? Do they have another scrum?
Wide early.
Now experiencing a lot of pressure coming through from the front. I think maybe the wise thing would be for Janriku Vermeulen to put it up as high as possible.
That's what he's going to do. You want to compete as well, and you don't want to give the ball away, and that they've just done now. The Son there with a little bit of a juggling act, but still they come. And they've got plenty of men out wide too to make use of if they decide to play wide. But there's the little knock on. As you get tired on a rugby field, so sometimes your concentration lapses.
Yeah, that's what I said. There was no influence. He was in the offside position but left it.
7 handling areas now on the side of Raiders. I'm not in control of that collision, the contact area by Mitchell Klutter. So you hold on to the ball, don't force the 50-50 pass. Only once you are dominating the collision area and you can get your hands through the pass or through that area and get the pass away, then sort of a 90% success rate. You must be 90% sure that it will find a man in the better position than you.
I think before you go onto the field, you know, that's something that should be drummed into you, that you know, that rather hold on to it. Your default should be, if it's not 50, if it is 50-50, hold on to it. Safer. That's another big hoist that then a little bit of time here as well for the Raiders to make use of things. Coles takes it in. Clean catch from him, one's got to say. Well, some good defensive work there from Janssen from the full back position.
We're having subs. Numbers 9. Who's the new captain, Marco?
Good call by Marco Alberts, just telling his Raiders teammates just to calm down, not force things.
The ball already. The 9 head the ball.
Well,
as soon as he lifts up the ball, he's playable.
That's his last bit of play as well. Kalen Benjamin is on the field. I think it's Kalen Benjamin at scrum half. I wonder if he's related to Reno Benjamin, who you saw in the stands the other day. Former Stormers player.
A West Coast favourite, Reno Benjamin. It was lovely to see him here on Thursday evening, and wonderful to see the former players coming back to the tournament, supporting these club rugby players. And Reno Benjamin obviously represented South Africa at sevens level, played at the Free State Cheetahs.
Yeah, he's a great contributor, one's got to say too. And also just listening to Sean Feldman just now, in terms of the referees and the preparation and everything that goes in. You know, referees are unsung heroes, as we know, very often, and they're subject very often, rightfully so on occasions, to some fairly heavy criticism. They don't have an easy job. And they're great contributors to the game of rugby.
Scrums is working out nicely now.
Wonderful to see the people from Saldanha coming out, young and old, and
much better.
their team will be in action a little bit later. Last match of the day against the defending champion Safcol.
Oh, that promises to almost be potentially the game of the tournament. Also tough for Saldanha too, you know, playing at home. There's a huge expectation that you are successful in that, and it doesn't always happen, of course. But this is that game is a replica of last year's match, where in the semi-final, where Safcol beat Saldanha and then went on to win the tournament as well in the final. So there's a point to prove that the Saldanha team have in terms of reversing that defeat from last year.
It's going to be personal, all right, Kevin Cowley. That's what club rugby is about. It is personal. We mentioned it on Thursday that a lot of these players are colleagues of the supporters. They are neighbours of many of the people that come out. So really, very great initiative
12 and 13,
to have this tournament over the Easter weekend.
12 and 13.
Another change from the Raiders, bringing on Andy Haysimon. of course, has
Just open one.
played some rugby for Western Province and the Bulls.
Space there, please. Make your line straight.
A natural fly half. Not sure what position he's going into. Is he going to fly half? Oh, he's on for Zona. Yeah, so he'll be in the fly half position. And Dimansha on for Quebeca. John Quebeca's day is done.
For you out. Now, 17. Advantage.
Well, they've got no points yet in the second half, Barberton. So is this an opportunity for them to make the most of things?
Ball is out. Going back for the penalty. Out, relax.
Well, the ball was actually out over the touchline, so they're going to come back for a line out.
Die kant. Side in, PA.
Well, there's a penalty against the Raiders for entering from the side at the breakdown.
Now, the assistant referee had his flag up.
Line is mine,
But,
just keep the space.
It was a double fault, if we could call it that, in tennis terms.
But once again, great momentum by Barberton. That back off forwards of these. And they'll probably try and utilize that again. But starts with accuracy in the line out by Mark Pretorius first, finding his jumpers. And he does just that.
We held at the back by Pretorius. Then they're backpedaling just a bit at the moment, but you mustn't worry about that. You just keep going forward. Eventually, one step back, 5 forward. And Barberton have got their first points of the second half.
Mark Pretorius, once again the captain, playing a big role in their second match, also scoring his second try of this encounter. But it started with the accuracy in the line and good communication. The Barberton pack put in reverse gear for a second or two, but then Pretorius takes it upon himself to break away, use his upper body strength, bounces off a few defenders, and gets another try on the scoreboard.
So Prakash Janssen is the man lining up the kick right now. One successful conversion today of the other try that Mark Pretorius scored. Such a pleasure kicking on a day when you don't have a hefty wind coming downfield straight into you. Well, it's a pretty good strike, but it's not straight enough. So the difference then, still those 21 points. That's 3 scores, of course, minimum, to catch up with the opposition.
Mark Pretorius doesn't mind getting down and dirty. He'll go to that dark places.
Good strong catch there from Makavela.
No.
Barberton, yeah, that ball just very slow in coming out. In fact, I think they might have, no, it's not turned over. But very difficult to attack from a position like this now. The opposition had a chance to regroup, and their defense has been good anyway, the Raiders. And they find a way through. They've got 1 try. Need to do a little bit of catching up if they can. And that means scoring tries very quickly.
Tackle to release 19. Advantage 19, not releasing.
They've got a penalty advantage, have Barberton. I think one of the important things is that they've just got to keep moving on, but they've done the right thing. Just keep moving it out, find space, work their way through. Which way does it bounce? The rugby ball can be really unkind at times. But eventually the Raiders managed to get it out. So good recovery from them. Looks like Barberton maybe have just woken up, ready to get some more points.
Once again, out on Carlson, just covering that little kick through, and Such a wonderful feel for the game. As Olofse departs.
Yeah, he's got a cut on his head, so they've got to sort that out. And bring on Killer Amadimo. Also a big boy. Played Currie Cup under 19 rugby.
And they call him Mr. Big T.
Oh, he's a big boy, eh? There are some rather large people here. 155 kilograms is John Williams, I think it is, who's
19, jy sê?
it's quite the heaviest man that I've ever commentated
Need to
to
get out for.
in a rugby match. But here they come, Barberton, continuing
Okay.
to try and pursue an opportunity over that line. Now the cross kick. Oh, it's a high tackle, so that's going to be and that ball's actually out. So it's going to be a penalty here to Barberton. Might be a yellow card too.
Okay. Just time off. Yeah, that's the only thing saving you from a card because you were stepping as well. But just keep it, okay? No more, okay? 100%, but just no more. Okay. Here's the mark.
That's
No more, eh?
called selling yourself and your team in a very appropriate way.
Is very apologetic.
Yeah.
The outside centre.
Line is mother. Line is mother.
He knew he was in a lot of trouble there. But this is a concern area for this Raiders team. 14 penalties conceded already.
And the majority in the second half too. So the big question is, can they get this line out right now? Important for Mark Pretorius to find his jumper. Gerrit Engelbrecht often the man. Once again, he's the target with that throw in.
No.
Still they come that very, very close now.
No.
And they find a mechanism to get over that line.
Okay, now, sir.
Physicality. Route 1 is the call. That's the way they're looking to try and take it forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes the element of surprise by just spinning it out can actually work quite well, but they are trusting themselves with their big pack of forwards, or Barberton. Another penalty advantage here for Barberton. Now, can they do something with this? Can someone find their way through? That's good defense by Raiders. Once again, you see how well positioned they are. No gaps, no easy gaps to get through.
Side entry 18. Stay on the line, Ginge. Stay on the line.
Tap and go is potentially the call. They're not going to go with the line out, are they? Or are they?
It looks like Janssen stepping up just to dot that ball over the line or chip it over the line. Rolling Maul possibly on the cards once again.
Yeah, it's what are the options? That would be the question you would ask yourself. What are their options? That's the best one, of course. Good team catch, good throw in, you know, good drive over the line and a couple of extra points.
They've enjoyed some reward with this Rolling Maul.
Well, they need it again. So who's the target this time? Was to the back of the line. Gerrit Engelbrecht was very much the target. And once again he is, but unfortunately didn't find its way to him. So the kick downfield from Andy Haysalman is a decent enough one. Take them out of trouble.
No, you can't. You need to play with the same ball.
If you were the Raiders coach, would you be happy with the performance? It's just about finished now with their performance today.
I just would have loved to see them play for the full 80 and not allow Barberton to get back into the game. I mean, they were leading with a lot of confidence in that first half. Somewhat getting momentum in the second, but just allowing Barberton to get back. Have the stat now, but Barberton in the area or the playing area of the Raiders in the 22 quite often in the second half.
Just take
You would want an 80-minute performance from your team.
Yep, no question about that. It hasn't always been there, but that's, you know, that's the sort of level of criticism. The positives are that they've scored 6 really good tries too, and a lot of them have been team tries. Everyone involved. Raiders taking away that ball in the line out. Simon finding his way downfield.
No, body weight.
Again, just look how well that assists these players by getting in front of them.
Out tackler. Out tackler. You the tackler, buddy.
The Raiders, a couple of minutes now to try and finish things off if they can. What they've done really well in this match too is their offloading has been at the right time to players in better positions than themselves, the ball carrier.
Too many knocks. First white and then Jim. Too much. First white and Jim. Let's go, gents. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So we see the little knock on there.
Back with the black.
Quite a few handling errors.
Back. Not back yet. So no. Anyone else? It's about 20 minutes. So about 4 minutes. Okay. But then the guys who is creating the uncontested need to sacrifice ook.
Okay, fine, let's go in.
No, we don't want to hurt you. We only have about 4 minutes to the game. Okay, so we're going uncontested. If we go uncontested, yes. Correct. Now, he was just the one called me. We're not going to. Okay. So you're gonna take it? You're gonna take it? Okay. He's taking it? Yeah,
what do you think he's going to do?
Going, okay?
When do you ask a front row forward to have an uncontested scrum? It's like kissing your cousin. Not interested, no.
Crouch.
We have a fight. So they are up for the fight on the Raiders team, and that's of course because of the change of personnel.
Sit. Keep it. Ball is available.
Good strong scrum that from Raiders.
Stay this side now.
A lot of chat happening up front.
Just keep it steady, man. Don't walk around.
Front row men trying to get into each other's heads at the moment.
Crouch.
Over a minute left in this encounter.
Crouch.
What do you think they're saying there?
Sit.
You're the scrum half. You're normally close to the action.
Oh, they're just exchanging plans for what's happening after the game. Kevin Cowley.
You'll come and have a hot cross bun with me.
And some pickled fish.
Some pickled fish. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, they come, the Raiders. Simon with a little change of direction. Again, some good support play here from the Raiders. I really have enjoyed that part of it, the way they've played. Yes, they've got through some poor tackling at times, but their support play has just been excellent. Play into a little bit of space and then drawing them in, playing it well. Simon enjoying his opportunity. Here's the overlap. No speedster on the left wing. But Kalea Madimo was the man who took that in, but they'll come back again for the penalty on the far side. I'm sure they'll tap and go once again. Well, how sure can I be about that? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, there was thought was there, but I think it's going to be a tap and go probably. Hooter in the background, so that's pretty much the lot. These players, they love to just keep playing. The penalty goes the way of Barberton. Now they could just kick it out because they've lost the game anyway, but there's no ways they're going to do that. Another tap and go. Unless some wise man says to them, I'm tired, kick it out. Oh, they can kick it out, of course, because they can have a line out. So that's going to happen with Janssen. Provided he kicks it out, of course, which he has done. And it's a pretty good kick from him. So will the last hurrah go to Barberton? They have the throw in the line out.
And they would want to end off with a try or at least some sort of points. I mean, they try to fight back as hard as possible, but just some unforced errors. It has cost them in this game, and the defense system of note in this Raiders team, applying a lot of pressure.
What about a drop goal from the tight end prop?
Why not?
Just to make it a really good finish. Well, the lineouts worked well for them, so they keep coming now, do Barberton. Staying on their feet importantly as well. They've got a penalty advantage. And I think, yeah, they do want to have the last hurrah if they can. Now the kick across field.
Number 19.
The referee blew his whistle quite quickly there, just not allowing to possible advantage, but they have the penalty, and again, kick to the corner, get close enough, and the catch and drive is maybe on.
It will speak volumes of this Barberton team that they continue to fight till the bitter end.
55 points in the game, and it really has been a spectacle for most of it. Yes, things got a little bit quiet in the second half. And the Raiders have been full value with those 6 tries that they've scored to the 3 of Barberton. Can Barberton get a 4th? Mark Pretorius with a throw. Is Gerrit Engelbrecht once again the target towards the back of the line out? Yes, he is. But not in straight, so that's surely going to be the end of the game. And so it is. So the Raiders are successful at the end of the day. Yep, there's a little bit of fun and a little bit of chirping there between the referee and the Mark Pretorius and the other players. But Ricky, have been a good start to the day in a lot of ways. Once again, we see a lot of tries.
Yeah, that's why it's festival rugby of note. But 9.
Man of the match for the game from the Raiders club. We've got Ryan Don, executive member of the Saldanha Rugby Football Club. If you can just hand over the Coke gift plaque to our man of the match. Scored 2 tries. Great game, well played. And I'm going to get in the captain for Barberton, the pride of Barberton. Mark, disappointing disappointing to have that result.
Yeah, Warren, I think we didn't get out of the blocks as we wanted to. They scored 2 quick tries and put us straight under pressure. And with a tournament like this, you play 3 tough games in 5 days. So the body shows it. And but I think we fought back well. And at the end, we were there and we just didn't convert it.
Unfortunate for you guys, but I tell you what, some great stories coming from your team. Some of you guys experiencing the ocean and the sea for the very first time in their lives.
Yeah, exactly. Not even that. Some of the guys have never flown before. This was their first time. I think there were 6 guys. Same with the ocean thing. So, yeah, I think we're just absorbing all the culture down here and the opportunity to be here. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mark. That's fantastic. From Barberton, the pride of Barberton, and getting over Captain Marco Alberts from the Raiders. Marco, you can be very proud of that performance from your boys. 6 tries to the 3 from the opposition.
Yeah, you can see I'm smiling much bigger than on Thursday, but yeah, the guys did exactly what was expected of them, and we came out of the blocks very quickly, so that sealed the win for us.
You did very well, and tell me how different the conditions were without that wind.
Yeah, much better. This is what we're used to, and we like the heat, so much better. We're pleased.
Tell me that right near the end, we got a glimpse of your big tight head prop, big Mr. T, running down the touchline, and you got a big cheer from the reserves. What's the spirit like in the team?
No, it's definitely a good spirit, and we have a lot of young guys. Like that prop is like 23 years old, and we know like props, they only peak when they're a little bit older, so definitely a bright future for him. So yeah, definitely a good spirit in the team, and we lift each other up a lot. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marco. You through to the plate final, and we'll see you on Monday. Thank you, Marco Alberts.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Cheers. That's Marco Alberts. And then just to have a look, the next game that we've got coming up, Veldrift are playing against the Gardens from the Eastern Cape. They are the EPCR Grand Challenge Cup rugby champs.